How to connect with the real you, according to Stoicism. In a world full of distractions, social expectations, and constant comparison, the question, "Who am I?" really becomes harder to answer. Most people live their entire lives reacting, chasing validation, running from discomfort, and trying to fit into images shaped by others. But the ancient Stoics believed that the most important journey a person can take is the one inward, toward their true self. The Stoics didn't speak of the authentic self in the way modern self-help does. For them, the real you isn't a mood or an identity, it's your rational nature, your inner character, the part of you that can remain calm in the storm, wise amid confusion, and grounded amid chaos. So how do you reconnect with that part of yourself? How do you remember who you are beneath the noise? Here's how Stoicism teaches us to return home to the real you. 1. Begin with self-observation. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Epictetus. The first step to finding the real you is to pause. To observe. To stop moving on autopilot and actually notice what's going on in your mind. What thoughts are constantly looping in your head? What emotions are dominating your day? Are your actions aligned with your values, or with your fears? The Stoics practiced daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote in Meditations not for others, but for himself, to examine his thoughts, strip away lies, and return to what mattered. Start by writing down your own thoughts. Not as a performance. Not to be wise. But to see clearly. You cannot connect with your true self if you're not even aware of what you're doing, thinking, and feeling. So begin there. Observe without judgment. 2. Detach from external validation. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. Marcus Aurelius. Most people build their sense of identity on external things, status, appearance, titles, praise. But the Stoics warned that this is the surest way to lose yourself. When you care more about what people think of you than about what you think of yourself, you become a stranger to your own soul. Your real self does not need applause. It doesn't depend on trends, opinions, or approval. It is defined by virtue, your ability to choose reason over impulse, character over ego. Every time you act based on your inner principles, regardless of what the world thinks, you reconnect with who you really are. So ask yourself, am I doing this for appearance or from authenticity? Would I still choose this path if no one applauded me? The real you doesn't need to be seen to be strong. It just needs to be true. 3. Understand your nature. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. For the Stoics, the self isn't a fixed identity. It's your nature, the part of you that is rational, moral, and designed for cooperation and integrity. You are not your mood. Not your trauma. Not your ego. You are something deeper, the ability to observe, to reason, to choose the good even when it's hard. To connect with the real you, return to your nature. Ask, what kind of person do I respect? What kind of life would I admire if it weren't mine? What qualities bring me peace, not pride? You'll find that the real you is quiet, disciplined, and compassionate, not loud, reactive, or insecure. And that part of you is always there, waiting to be honored. 4. Face discomfort with courage. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. We lose ourselves when we run from discomfort. When we avoid difficult conversations, uncomfortable truths, or honest self-reflection. But the Stoics believed that growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Your real self isn't afraid of pain, it uses it. It faces fear with clarity. It treats setbacks as tests, not punishments. The fake self wants comfort and applause. The real self wants truth. So, when you're faced with a choice between ease and integrity, choose integrity. When something feels difficult but right, lean into it. Each time you do, you become more of who you were meant to be. 5. Practice solitude and silence. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Marcus Aurelius. The modern world fears stillness. We are trained to always be doing, scrolling, working, talking. But you can't hear the real you when the volume of life is turned all the way up. The Stoics practiced stillness not as a break from life, but as the center of it. Spend a few minutes each day in silence. Without music. Without a screen. Just you and your breath. In that space, you'll start to notice what's real. The frantic voices quiet down. The ego relaxes. The masks drop. And you may hear something softer beneath it all, a sense of knowing, a quiet presence, a feeling of returning to yourself. That's the real you. It was never gone, just buried under noise. 6. Live by principle, not emotion. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Emotions are part of you, but they are not you. Anger, fear, envy, and pride are all passing storms. But your character, your principles, those are what define the real you. The Stoics didn't suppress emotion. They transcended it. They used reason to guide their choices, not moods. Next time you're tempted to lash out, to procrastinate, to indulge a vice, pause and ask. Does this action reflect who I want to be? Am I choosing this out of wisdom or weakness? Each decision is a vote for the person you're becoming. So live intentionally. And slowly, your real self will emerge, not because you found it, but because you created it. 7. Accept yourself, and grow from there. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. Epictetus. Self-connection doesn't come from perfection. It comes from acceptance. You are flawed. You will make mistakes. But that doesn't mean you're broken. The real you isn't defined by your failures, but by your response to them. Can you accept who you are right now, without excuses, and still strive to become better? That's what the Stoics did. They weren't cold or rigid. They were compassionate, with themselves and with others. They knew that connecting with your true self requires both discipline and mercy. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest, humble, willing to keep growing. And that, perhaps, is the most Stoic thing of all. Brain final reflection. You won't find the real you in a book, a job title, or a social media profile. You'll find it in quiet self-reflection, honest choices, daily discipline, and the courage to act according to your values, regardless of who's watching. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if thou wilt ever dig. Asterisk. So dig. Strip away what the world told you to be. Listen beyond your moods and fears. And you may just remember who you were all along.